Okay, let's move on. We have a bunch of these problems. For the first three, 18 to 20, make sure you use these two and find the domain. And then 21, 22, just simplify. 23, 24, make sure you do this, the composite functions. And then number 25, 26, just find the inverse. Is the inverse a function? Yes or no? All right, move on. Let's go. Remember to pause the video with, it's however you want to do it. This is a fourth root. And then, yeah, I think the other one's clear enough. Okay. So times -2, and then all right, the domain for this is obviously every single number. It's a parabola, so it has to be every number. All right, this one, negative. Ooh, this one's rough. Okay, distribute and all that good stuff. Let's do that. Finally combine it all. All right, for this one, the domain must be all. Okay, literally every single x is possible. Okay, number 20. Number 20. F. The top I have. All right, here's this. All right, what is the domain, right? Domain is that x, look, cannot be 2. Okay. Yeah, all right. So that's that. Okay, this one, just simplify, combine them. Same thing over here. Just let me check that everything's fine. All right. This one, it's just a composite function. All right, let's plug it in. This one is f of x first. So f of x is already this. So if we then we just have to plug it into here. So g of f of g of f of x is just this one. Plug it into here. G of x squared minus 2. So it's literally 4 x squared minus 2 plus 1. All right, you should simplify it. I'm not going to do that right now. It's just work, okay? But you have to. You have to do work. Okay. Now it's g of x. Plug it back in here because f of x is later. So it's literally. All right, same thing. You're gonna distribute. I'm not gonna do that. All right, I forgot. I forgot to circle the answers. So there's this one, this one, this one, this one. Answer, answer. Well, here are the answers. Composite functions. Whoa, this one's longer. Okay. All right, this one you don't have to distribute. This one takes too long. F of x first. So g of is whatever this is. Negative 3 bracket 2 x squared plus x minus 7 minus 1. Next one, f of g. So g first. Now plug it back in. So g of x first. But this time there are a bunch of there are two x's, so make sure you do all of that. 2, right? There you go. That's your answer. Just by looking at this, you could already tell is the inverse a function. The inverse for this one is definitely not a function because it's a parabola, right? It's a parabola, it's a square, so it looks something like this. And then it doesn't matter whatever it looks like, if we graph the inverse, it must look like that, so that's not a function. Okay, this one will always be a function because this is a picture that looks like this. So the inverse must look like this, something that looks like that. And then that only have one x, one y. So this is no, this is yes. Now, let's find it. So the final answer is okay. Just let me check one more thing. Yeah, I think it's right. Okay, next one. Okay, this one has a slight problem because this is a parabola. So we need to define it using the domain and range. Take a look at this one. Okay, let's take a look at the domain for this and range. Domain is that x can be negative half, but cannot be any larger or less than negative half. Because if it's anything less than that, so it has to be greater than negative 1 over 2. When x is negative 1 over 2, y is 0. So it must go up. So y has to be greater than equal to 0. All right, so for this one must be the opposite. So it means x has to be greater than or equal to 0. Y has to be greater than or equal to half. There you go. All right, more problem. Last one, at least. Okay. All right, so grab these different ones, these 6 more. If you don't finish it, you can, study it later, right? Okay, so graph these. These look funny, so it's best if you simplify a little bit and then you graph. 16, so 16 x plus 5. All right, so it's a parabola. Let's move shift 5 to the left, stretch by 4, and down 1. So parabola, shift to the left 5, stretch by 4, and then down 1. So this point must be negative 5, 1. Oh, negative 1, and then. Okay, this one's the same. This one cannot be divided by 3, but it doesn't change anything. I mean, everything can be divided by anything if you just do this. Right? So you have 3. So it's been shifted 3, 1/3, and then stretch it by a factor of 3, like that. So the answer must be negative 1/3, 0. Okay, Let's graph this one. State the domain in range. Okay, all right. So it's a cubic function. Cubic function looks like this. Stretch by 2, so bigger, up 3. So this point must be 0, 3. All right, domain, just look at it. All numbers. Range, just look at it. If you put in any x, if you put in 100 trillion, y is going to get a really, really big. So it's going to eventually get to all of the big numbers. So, all right, this one, domain and range. All right, this one requires a little bit of calculation. So let's do this one. So obviously, you can do that XY chart. 0 is the one that you need to worry about. So let's start with 0. So negative 3 over 2, you get 0. Okay, so it could only be x can only be at least, this is the lowest that it could be. Okay, so now let's try to put in anything over 2, so you can cancel out the 2. So for example, let's do 5 over 2, you get negative 8. And then let's put in 10 over 2, you get negative 13. Okay, all right, now you can graph it. You know the regular function, square root of x looks like this. So this negative in front definitely puts it below. So when x is negative 3 over 2, let's just say over here, it must be 0. Okay, and then when x is 0, when x is 0, it must be negative square root of 3, so somewhere around here. And then let's just do 2.5, and 2.5 over here, negative 8, and then 5 here is negative 13, so like this. All right, graph inverse. This is the practice that you need to do. Okay, here is the original function. The original function looks like this. And then now, this one reflects across the x-axis. Because positive x is now negative x is now positive x. So it just, you can do it like this. Okay, well, this one is not pretty, but I did my best. So that's your answer. Whoa. No. Not this one. Sorry. It looks like this. Sorry, I got too carried away. All right, this one, 6 to the left, 6 up. So the regular function is 6 to the left, 6 up, so it looks like that. Okay, so the inverse must look like this. Okay, well, that's all of them. Oof.